office license 1957. I'm a retread, now have my general. KK7. My original call sign was K7. So I think they picked me up. So KK7, Zulu Oscar Kilo.
And one thing, when he got his tech, it was virtual. He didn't go to an exam session. He did it virtual, so that might be interesting.
I did both virtual.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Just one more comment.
Sure.
Kent and I were in Turkey together, 1968, 69, and 70.
Okay.
So, Interlick Air Force Base. Yeah. But I was all over Turkey and Greece. So.
I'm sure you were in Dutch a couple times together too.
In Dutch?
Okay. Any newly licensed operators with us? Probably not, because our technician thing was a while back, and we do have newly licensed folks here from, what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? Any upgrades? We will have upgrades after Wednesday night, because we're having an exam session here Wednesday night. We just finished our general class, and we've got, I don't know, 15, 16 folks that are going to work on taking the test, and we look forward to having new generals.
Do you need help that night?
Or
have you got it covered?
We may need a little help, yeah, for the exam, so all
Okay.
of our VEs, it'll be good.
It's this Wednesday night?
This Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, down in the library, right here in this building.
Okay.
We're going to turn time over to Jay. He's got a couple things for us.
Thank you for the light. I can't see without it. Two things I'd like to take, as your treasurer, I'd like to take a moment to explain. I obtained one inquiry on it. If you look at the financial statement that was included in the last newsletter, you'll see that there's a new column on it right here called Restricted Prepaid Dues. What it unfortunately didn't have, it's now been corrected and does have, it should have had a note explaining what that was. General fund is the fund we have for operations. We've had 4 funds. General fund is our normal operations. Repeater is for the repeater, and VEC is the testing people. And they are kind of self-supporting funds. The general fund is we get the money, we can spend it for our operations. Well, it dawned on us, as we were talking about it, that many people prepay dues. And if we don't stop and think about it, we're going to spend them. And all of a sudden there's a possibility that we're going to get to a point where people have prepaid their dues, we're not getting any dues coming in, we don't have any money. So it dawned on us how many dues are prepaid. So it turns out, when we looked at it, I'm going to just run through this real quickly. 124 members prepaid for 25, so there's nothing there. 28 for 26, $420. $510 for 27. $315 for 28. $60 for 29. Nothing for 30. 31's got 90, and 32's got 105. So there's $1,500 that people have paid that technically they've said we're going to pay our dues, and we paid them for 26 or beyond. We shouldn't spend it. So what we did is we set up another fund on the financial statements that is called Restricted Prepaid Funds, to remind us that we can't pay this $1,500. We've only got $3,300 for operations, not $4,800. That's what's there. And the note says prepaid membership dues are held until August 1st of the year for which they are prepaid, at which time they will be transferred and become available to the general fund. So that's what, if you do see what the heck is going on, what's restricted and why, That's why, that's how.
I make a suggestion. You might want to consider taking those funds and putting them in a restricted fund CD account so you can make a little bit of money on it.
I talked to the bank about it, and the CD that we have right now, that we could get for this $1,500, pays 0.00010% per annum.
You need to go to my bank.
So,
They're putting out 5% for 18 months.
yeah, so anyway, with Wells Fargo,
That was a
we can put it in a
savings
regular savings account, which I think
Until we
that's what
got
we'll
enough.
do. Now, in our proposed revisionist dues, which we could talk about, I hope, a little later, we're also talking about lifetime memberships. And the lifetime memberships will be restricted for an investment fund. And that will happen. But this 1,500, we don't know, right now they're floating in the general fund. We would like to get them into an investment earning, but it would be nice to have an investment earning. And they tell us the threshold to get, like you were talking about, the threshold for that is $10,000. Well, our $1,500 is not going to cut
Their
it.
threshold is $500.
Whose?
America First.
America First, Mount
And
America
they pay
Credit Union,
about
same
4%,
thing.
5%, depending on when you make your.
I'll talk to them and see what we can have, see what we have. We will check it. Good, thank you for the advice. Any other questions on that or thoughts on that idea? Okay. The second thing I'd like to do is take just a moment. As we were doing this, the question came up, or the thought came up, right now, what do we do if somebody wants to prepay, as we're in the flux of changing the bylaws and stuff, prepayment? So all of a sudden there was a note that I was reading, and I think it was in the newsletter, or maybe it was in the membership renewal form, and it says, if you want to renew as a family member, because under the new ones there's not going to be a family membership, and if you want to renew as a renewal right now as a family member, even though soon we won't have family members, talk to the membership clerk. Membership clerk? No, I'm not. So I started looking up, and I looked up membership clerk, and I got out who the officers are, and I went down through it, and I found out the membership clerk, Val Campbell. Now, wait a minute. Val Campbell, I know he's the operations manager. Oh, okay, that's it. Well, Val Campbell's also the webmaster. He's also the postmaster. He's also the equipment loan manager. And I went down through this, I think there's a lot of us that have more than one, I'm calling them a calling for lack of something else, more than one responsibility for the club as a volunteer or whatever. But all of a sudden, here sits Val with 6 or 7 of them, and there are several of us that have more than one, but not very many of us carry 7 and carry that. And then I also found out he is the repository for QSO cards that we received. Somehow he has the repository for storing those and keeping track of those, and eventually he throws them away. I don't know what he does with them. But anyway, I would like to recognize Val for all he does for the club. Val, stand up, please. Come on.
We do appreciate Val. I call him Blue because he holds us together.
Can I say something?
I'm not sure.
Just wanted to clarify something. Gail Joel is now the QSO member.
That's right.
Activity usually takes place during May, right after Golden's Clay. There isn't much else throughout the year.
Meanwhile, Blue. That doesn't mean he's a dead horse.
Yeah.
Some of us understand that. Okay. Our next meeting is at Golden Spike on May 10th. I've been out, visited with the ranger, with Zoe, and with Casey Munger, who will be leading the charge on putting up our antenna. It was fun because we had barely walked in the door and the phone rang, and one of the rangers picked it up and looked a little confused and hollered to the lead ranger in the next room, This guy's asking about when the ham event's going to be. So, what could I do? We're the ham guys. It's the 10th of May. So, anyway, we're on track with them. Justin, who is their division manager, lead ranger out there, has emailed me. They're very eager to have us back. We'll be in the same spot. And we're planning on setting up about 8 o'clock. The park opens at 9. It'll be open, free fee, free parking, that kind of thing. So come and enjoy the day with us. We need operators. Whoever it was that was on the phone is going to be calling in and wanting to get his QSL card with the trains on it. And we will be there as long as we can until we have to shut down to get out of the park before they close up. Probably around 4 o'clock or so. So if you can come during the day and operate or log, it would be great.
Craig,
Yes.
we'll need some help setting up the antenna as well for anyone that is interested.
Right.
Probably 3 or 4 people. So if anyone can get there early and is interested, it would be appreciated.
Stand up, Casey. Turn around so they can see you. This is Casey.
So
He can't do it all on his own.
we'll go out. Yeah, we'll go out there. Probably around 8 o'clock and set the antenna up. I'll have the equipment, etc. For those who aren't familiar with it, it's not a large operation, but it is helpful to have a few people. There are radials that we need to put out, stake down. There's some guy lines that need to be set up, that sort of thing. You put the antenna together, which it's not too complex, but it is interesting and it's a little bit much for one person. And then take down, we'll probably use whoever's there. I would imagine at that point it'll be a little bit easier than setting up. But if you can be there for that, it would be appreciated.
Thanks, Casey. Okay, now for a final order of business, we want to talk about bylaws. Our bylaws were previously dated 2018. They were updated in January and February of 2024. And that update corrected a few typos. It got rid of some outdated club operations, such as the auto patch, things like that. We had the acceptance of GMRS memberships as an associate membership. And where are we here? So the board's been looking at this for some time, quite some time. And we've met, we've emailed, we've looked at it all. Last meeting, we talked about the changes in the bylaws, some of which include continuing the GMRS memberships as associate members, eliminating the membership family plan. There was a lot of confusion about that. Family dynamics change. It was difficult to keep track of somehow. The original intent of the family plan was to allow a licensed operator and one other person to be part of a family plan. Oftentimes, the second person was an unlicensed person in the family. Licensed operators for our club fees are $15. Associate members, which would be anybody who's unlicensed, is $10. So, what is happening here is if we have 2 members of a household who are both licensed, it will now be $30 instead of $25. So for those who are both licensed, it's going to cost you an extra $5. If you need a scholarship, then talk to me. I got $5 in my pocket right now. In addition, we've talked about a lifetime membership for licensed individuals. And that is out on our website. It was posted on our Facebook group. It's been out there for review for a couple months. And we've encouraged everybody to go and take a look at it. What else do we have here?
Do you have a
Great.
fee for a lifetime membership yet?
We have a tiered fee depending on your age. And so I haven't memorized them, I don't know this. What I do know is that if I accept my lifetime membership before August, I'm going to pay the club another $100, which I'm happy to do. And I'm hoping to do later today if this is approved.
Craig,
Yes,
just want to clarify that a lifetime membership is an individual. Because we got into the discussion, what happens if, that's part of the reason there's no family member. What do you do if you have a family lifetime membership and one spouse dies, the other spouse is still a member, that spouse remarries, so you got to cut it off someplace. So a family membership is an individual membership, and it dies when they die.
and lifetime membership is an
Lifetime.
individual.
Lifetime membership.
There's no family lifetime membership. The other thing that we've done,
Greg, you've got a question.
In light of Jay's report earlier about the funds and everything else,
yes,
and how we normally would pay for the steaks at the steak fry,
right,
how is this change from a family license, family membership to an individual membership going to affect that?
shouldn't affect it at all. The tiered membership costs were calculated against, like I say, age. And so the costs were $15 against X number of years. I will not outlive my individual lifetime membership. And it is non-refundable, so it'll be there for everybody else. Each year it'll be the same as what we talked about with restricted funds. The $15 will just go back into the general fund as needed. So it really is no different than prepaying, it's just prepaying a whole bunch. It's entirely optional, you don't have to do it. If you feel like you'd like to, it'll help the club. And so
I think you better jump forward to, some of the questions you're asking are answered by the next discussion, if I can lead it. Honorary member.
okay. Part of these bylaw changes include licensed operators below 18 years of age receive a complimentary membership up until the year that they turn 18. Licensed operators who are over 90 years of age receive a complimentary membership for the rest of their life.
And I have already paid all my membership dues. I'm prepaid enough that basically I'm going to become an honorary member without paying any more dues.
I didn't think about that one. You may have to think that through. This is one of
Hey, I'm the
all these
treasurer. I
things
control
that-
that, remember?
complications that you don't expect, right? So we've posted this, we've reviewed them, we've asked everybody in the club to review them, and should you all be willing to allow us to do this, we will immediately update the website, the membership enrollment, and after the meeting. I'll take care of that first. Yes.
If a member has already paid for quite a few years in advance and wants to be a life member, will he get credit for the dues he paid in advance already?
No, but he can wait to do it until his others expire. So if you want to keep going, then there's no need to do it immediately.
Okay, thank you.
Kind of like me wanting to get a lifetime membership in the VHS Society. I still have a few years left.
So take that, Mel. Well, we would give you credit for why you paid in advance.
I wouldn't expect that, but thank you.
Hey, Greg,
Yes,
from what you said, I don't think it came across clear that we have 2 lifetime membership schedules, one for licensed members and another schedule for the unlicensed associate members. So there are 2 tiers. In other words, if you're not licensed and you're an associate member, the schedule is
I didn't see that.
adjusted.
Is that
I didn't bring
where
it
is
up.
that?
It's been there. In fact, I got the numbers from you.
Well, I didn't know you were going to do that.
You want to hold off now?
I should have showed.
Okay, we're going to review that at our board meeting on the 30th of this month. And we will bring this back to you at our next meeting here in October. Because we won't be here again until October.
What just happened there? Why are we,
Why don't we just vote?
yeah, why are we not acting right now today?
Because there's a discrepancy in understanding about offering a lifetime associate member. That was not
I would
something.
like to make a proposal that we vote on it now and table the one about the associate member. We can vote on that later.
I did not bring a copy of the proposed, do you have a copy of the proposed with you?
It's online. Is that online? Can you bring it up and run through it? Laptop right there?
We've really gone through this, we've tried to look at it. If Val says that there is a schedule for a non-licensed, for a lifetime associate, remembering that the lifetime dies, it's a lifetime membership, it dies, when that member dies, the membership dies. So if there's a provision for an associate member, and they choose to elect it as a lifetime, that's fine. They can do that. And I don't see any problem with doing that. We've tried to cover all the variables. That's the reason why we eliminated the family. Because what happens if this one and that one and Mary's here? That, you know, it's like, oh, where do you cut it off? So I don't see a problem with it. Craig, I don't see
The problem is that Val says he got the numbers from me, and I don't think I did that. Now, my memory's not great, but we need to take a look here.
Well, let's then, rather than table it till October, let's let them start their meeting and we can look at this and answer it.
We have a motion before us to vote
Sit down.
and hold the associate question until later.
Yes.
Okay, that would be, yeah, so we could move. Yeah, all right.
Question in the back?
second.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to call it back to order. You got a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody second my motion?
Second?
Got a second?
Now it's open for discussion.
Anybody have comments? No comments? Those in favor of voting and tabling the discussion about a lifetime associate member? Aye? Aye. Nay? Nay. The ayes have it. We will vote. Those who are in favor of adopting the new bylaws as have been on the website and on our Facebook group and discussed last meeting and this meeting, all those in favor, vote aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. We will adopt the new bylaws with the provision that we will review the lifetime associate membership, and we'll get back with you on that in October. We all good with that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right?
That gives me the opportunity to give more money to the club. Ma'am.
I just want to make a quick announcement about the DHS Society. We have the booklets that just came in. If you remember, come and get one from me at the end of the meeting. If you're not a member, come and pay your dues and I'll give you a booklet. If you want to buy a booklet, we've got a real good deal on them. We're selling them the same price as a membership.
And with that, we'll go into our, what you all came for. We've got Evan, and we've got Marvin. Marvin is the president of the Utah Amateur Radio Club. He moved up and into our area, North Ogden, recently. He's a member of our club, and we are grateful to have him with us. The two of them will tag team. Marvin has just had some back surgery, so if you don't mind, he will speak to you while he's seated, or while he's wandering around if he needs to, whatever it takes. So
I have to do both. I'm good for about 5 minutes of one or the other.
Go ahead.
Justin, could we kill the lights completely?
Yeah.
It will be hard to see.
All right, stay awake, Steve.
I'm going to start out. Why use a remote? Well, first one is, this is from my front door. It's 7,000-foot mountains. There's no way I can transmit to the northeast, down through southeast Europe, clear through to Africa. I'm dead as a doornail. Next one, right up here, is the 360 kV power line. Noisy as heck. There's one behind me, too, that's not quite so powerful, but just as noisy. A lot of people live where they don't want a cloud of aluminum on the top of the roof. I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while, part of my rig will go down, so you've got a backup. Very low cost. My goodness. $20 to belong to the Utah Amateur Radio Club. Some of the remotes back east are charging like $100 an hour.
Oh, shoot. No way.
Then, of course, if you're into the nets, that's okay too. Beehive and FarmNet. You're in the middle of the state, so you can talk all over the state. And of course, the FarmNet on 80 meters is in the evening. And this will work great for it. Finally, if you're a tech, you can work on 10 meters, full single sideband operation, just like myself or any other general or extra. If you happen to be a tech that knows CW, I'd like to meet you. I haven't run into one lately. But technically, that's okay.
Evan, before you go.
Yes.
Okay, I have all these problems in spades. I live up on the mountain right below Ben Lomond Peak, and I'm surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. So when we were looking for properties in North Ogden, I repeatedly calculated, at what angle are all these mountains going to affect me. Most of them are at about 15 degrees, so I can get over those mostly. But there are other problems as well, some of which that I didn't realize. Now, I moved up from Salt Lake, and I have an incredible station of my own. It's well, maybe not incredible, it's expensive, let's put it that way. I have a Flex 6400 radio, and I had a beam and with a hex beam on it, which worked incredibly. I also had a off-center fed dipole to fill in where the hex was not useful. So I moved all of that up here. I put the hex beam on a temporary crank-up tower that I have. It's a military surplus guy. It wasn't terribly high. It was at about 28 feet or something like that. But in actuality, if you know how the hex beams work, at 28, at only that level, the angle of radiation is just about right to get over most of those mountains. Everything is wonderful, but guess what? I also have solar panels right there on my garage, and I am absolutely and totally, completely obliterated with noise until I get to the top end of 20 meters, no matter what. So that's not a good thing. Well, actually, it probably didn't make any difference because living up in North Ogden, the canyon winds are horrible, and it blew. Like one morning, I woke up and my hex beam was laying in a puddle upside down, in 60 pieces. So, well, it was pretty useless anyway up here. So there's another example of doing this. As Evan pointed out, if you are a member, you have access to this. We'll talk a little bit more about what the facility actually is. What else did I want to have to say here? I think that's about it.
Can I jump in to make
You
a
take
comment?
off at this
Yeah,
point.
you
You
got
go
it.
ahead with your presentation, telling us what this is.
I'm sorry?
Can we do that, or do you want me to go ahead?
Do what? Oh, I didn't hear.
You're going to show your slides right now?
No, I don't have my slides.
Oh, okay.
That's why we're tag teaming. And there was a
I was
comment,
going to
think it
make
was
a quick
about-
comment about it. I've used this, and it works really neat a bunch of ways. Basically, you use your PC at home or wherever you're at, and you can go through the internet to connect to the Leamington site. And I did something very unusual last Christmas. I was over in Europe, and I wanted to check into the Beehive net. So I logged into the internet in England, and I connected to the Leamington site, and I was able to use the Leamington site to check into the Beehive net from England through the internet. And I've used it a lot to do a lot of different things. We were talking about 10 meters. 10 meters has been wide open for some of you people who don't have a 10-meter setup. You can go through this site and you can do 10 meters. And 10 meters is open all over the world right now. It's really fun to get on 10 meters and make international contacts.
Thank you. We'll get to that stuff in a little bit. Okay. It's called the Leamington site. Oops, I went, there we go. Here's Delta, here's Nephi, Leamington is right in the middle. It's out in the boondocks. I mean, there's nothing around for about 50 miles. It's up on a hillside, but got good sight all the way around. It's an abandoned AT&T site, and by the way, there are actually two remotes that we can operate. One is WA7X as part of the setup up on the Skyline Drive up above Fairview.
Okay, stop for a second. This site, we don't own this site. Okay, and I'd like to take a minute here and give you a little history of it. As Evan said, it's an old AT&T site. When AT&T took their microwave network down, however, whatever the agreement was, all of these sites were given to American Towers. American Towers kept the ones that they was useful to them, and decided to divest themselves of all of the rest. This was one of them that they didn't want to keep. I know of two people that have purchased these sites. I have no idea how much it cost them to get them. The other one is Randy Colway, who's also a member of our club. He bought a site up in Idaho, and I was talking to him. This all happened in the late 90s, maybe early 2000 time period. This site right here was built in 1964. It was purchased originally by Steve Olson, who I happen to be a ham, and a friend of his who was a member of our club and was the president before I came on, was talking to Steve and says, well, why don't we put a radio in there? Because it truly is out in the middle of nowhere. You don't have cell system, you don't have landline, you don't have nothing at all. So they did that. At that point, they put up a G5RV antenna, which incidentally is still there. We are still using it. It's a wonderful antenna. There's more I probably ought to tell you. I'll tell you now. Steve passed away sometime, became a silent key, and the site is now owned by his wife, June. Now, that kind of begs the question, she owns this site, why does she let us do this? We have full access, we can go down there anytime, we put our radios up, our antennas, we've got all kinds of good stuff going on. Our work parties are a party, literally, and so why would she allow all that? Well, partly, It's because of the memory of her husband. But probably more importantly than that, we do a whole bunch of maintenance on this site. As an example, this building, this bunker, it's about 50 feet on a side, is made out of solid concrete. And they are pre-made concrete pieces that were brought in, stood up, and glued together. Well, that was in 1964. And the caulking in all of these seams has rotted, and it got to the point where the wind was blowing through the place. And so we started repairing them all. At one point, there was a leak in the roof. We repaired the leak in the roof. And it goes on and on. She is very happy to have us there. She's a ham as well. She frequently joins us on the work parties, not because she does anything, but just to visit and see how things are going. Oh, one other thing. We have cameras set up, so there's security, and that helps to make her feel comfortable. She knows that if somebody tries to break in or something like that, which, I mean, come on, this is a concrete bunker. You can't break into it. But nonetheless, somebody shot up the outhouse one time, for example. And outhouses are perfect targets. Everybody knows that. So she allows us to do all this kind of stuff. What else? That's probably enough. Evan?
Okay. The equipment that's there is a nice Kenwood TS480, rated at 100 watts, but like a lot of the mobile type units, it will overheat, so it's been downrated in the actual operation to about 80. But that's a nit as far as the amount of dBs that affect your signal. Log periodic beam goes from 20 meters up through 10 real well. The G5RV for 80 through 10 meters, boy, I'll tell you, on 20 meters, that is a champ. An infed half-wave with the lower frequencies. And then very recently, the UARC folks put up a 6-element beam for 6 meters. And so it's well equipped. The requirements are for general and extra. The only thing is you really shouldn't start out as an absolute greenhorn, which is why the next comment on pick an Elmer for the text really would hold true for a general or extra that has never been on HF. But kind of like text with CW, I don't know anybody. With tech, it's a good idea. The operation is so different from the standard 2-meter handheld operation that it's a good idea. But it's not all that complicated. You just have to have somebody to feed you through it. Join the Utah Amateur Radio Club. It's a good club anyway. It's worth the $20 whether you use this or not.
Thank you.
And they've got a real good manual that describes everything you need to know. But like any manual, it sure helps to have somebody alongside you go through the details of it. You need a relatively modern computer. I went through all the first steps and fired up my 13-year-old Lenovo laptop, and it wouldn't work worth a hoot. And eventually bought a new desktop with a modern processor and so on. By the same token, just a day or two ago, I took my daughter's 5-year-old laptop and fired it up too. So if you're relatively modern, you're not going to have any problem.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay, up until very recently here, I have been using a computer that's 14 years old. It's not capable of running Windows 11. And by the way, this will work on Windows 10, but that's a little bit beside the point. I've been running Windows 11 now that I'm very familiar with it, and I wanted to run Windows 11 on this particular computer that is in my shack. And part of the reason is, I'm an old geezer, my eyes are not very good, and I need a big screen, and this computer has a 27-inch monitor attached to it. So what I did is I ran a crippled version of Windows called Tiny 11, which is a very, very small build of Windows 11 with all the extraneous stuff that you don't really need removed from it. And I've been running it that way for a while now. Well, since I moved to North Albuquerque, actually, so it's been a couple of years. And it has run perfectly. So you have to have a reasonably modern computer. But if it's apparently 14 years old or newer, would probably work. It is a fast i7 processor, so that's probably part of the reason that I can do that.
Is it only Windows? Is it only Windows based?
It is only Windows based, which is a little unfortunate. I expect at some point it will be available for Apple, and maybe if I'm lucky, we'll have it on Linux. But I'm not holding my breath. It'll probably happen at some point, but the number of available machines for the other operating systems are pretty minor compared to all of the people that run Windows. I don't like Windows. I never have. I still don't. But it's basically at this point what the world runs on, so that's kind of what I'm stuck with.
And the point is, you've got a computer. You don't have to invest in a whole, thousands of dollars worth of equipment or even a $500 used unit. The program that this operates on is called RC4. First part is Remote Control 4, and I'll be darned if I remember what it comes after that. But it's very simple. You just, Google RC4 client, and bingo, it's there. Craig did it just the other day. And then, in order to, once you've done all of that, joined and ready to go, you get UARC permission. And the manual tells you how to do that, and it says, get hold of Marvin. So he'll come back and say, oh, okay. When I contacted him, I said, okay, I've got 1,100 contacts and about 50 DX and all of it on CW. Can I operate this thing? And he said, you bet. So
Okay,
hold it there.
Hold it out. Another little bit of being able to get into the radios. You don't need a particularly fast internet connection as well. And in fact, the internet connection from Delta to the site is via a radio link, and it's about 40 meters, 40 meters. It's about 40 down and 13 or 14 up. And that's not particularly fast. The things that are important, though, are the jitter, for one thing, and the delay. And those two things are pretty good on that link. So just as, once again, we're talking about, you don't have to go buy, spend $1 billion on things to have a real high-class station, and that's what this is. But the question's going to come up. What about my internet connection? What about the computer? Whatever. So hopefully we've answered those things. I'm interjecting here in Evan's presentation just so you guys can catch a quick nap.
Well, one thing I didn't include on this was indeed on the internet. Pete Ashdown of X-Mission is giving us that internet free. Can't beat a deal like that. He's really nice in that regard. Then, microphone and speaker. Right here, the microphone and speaker on the laptop works just fine. I've got a desktop, so I use a headset and microphone. I'll show you pictures of that later. So what are the requirements? Pretty simple, actually. You go through, just join the club, read the manual, and you're off and running, especially if you've got somebody, and I volunteer.
Okay, another comment.
Yeah.
My My philosophy is if anything's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So I have a very nice Heil Pro 7 headset. I used it when I was using different radio before I bought my Flex 6400. But when I started setting up the Flex, it became much easier to buy a cheap gaming headset with the little microphone on the thing. And that's what I've been using ever since. So once again, you know, the Heil set is wonderful, it's nice and comfortable and everything else like that, but basically I'm using a gaming headset that was like something like 14 bucks or something like that. Works perfectly, it's comfortable. Onward.
From here on in the presentation, I'm really giving you a preview. After we're done, I'm going to select some volunteers to come up and actually operate right off of the desk here. So to give you an idea of what we will be doing. The first thing is you click on the RC form and it comes up. And then it'll have a box right up here in the corner, and you type in UARC, and then out of this huge selection will come just one right up there, and it'll say Leamington UARC site. You double click on that, and that takes you to the 480. Picture just like that. It's very similar to the actual hardware that you see. Very, very similar. And very similar to almost any of the mobile type units. One of the key things is listen. This is a group operation. And so you don't want to charge in on top of somebody. Then down here, it says ask. May I tune the remote? And if somebody is already on and you're not paying attention, that's why you should listen. They may come back and say one of two things. Hold on, I'm in the middle of waiting on a DX contact, or hey, go ahead, I'm done for the day. So you want to ask and wait. You know, maybe a minute. And then the next thing is you set the mode for single sideband or CW right up there. Just click, click. You set down here in the corner, excuse me, yeah, down right there. You can turn these knobs just like a knob on your home set. You can adjust the amount as you go around, how much it will pick up. I happen on CW, I'll set it for a half a KC. I use 5 on sideband, but you can set it any amount you want. The screen is set up, there's 2 frequencies shown. And the top one is for receiving in any event, and except for one thing that I'll just touch on, that's the one that you also transmit on. But you notice over here in the corner, there's a button that says split. And in working DX stations down in the middle of nowhere, why they will transmit on one frequency, and they'll call sign, they'll say W0GOP UP, up. So you set the split, and you're now going to be able to set this 1 KC higher. So that's important. But if you're not going to use the split, and normally you will not in sideband, the top one is the one you want. If you want to make them identical, you just click A equals B.
Hold it for a second, Evan.
Sure.
A couple of things else that I'll elaborate on are a couple of boxes here. Multiple people can be logged on at the same time, obviously. You just use your manners and share, okay? Everybody who is signed in will show up right here with their call sign. This box right here is the chat room. This is where the guys that are here can like text each other, okay? So if, as Evan points out, this little box right here is asked, something will come up right here that says, can I tune the remote? And if there's anybody that's currently actually active in using it, they will respond here, and as Evan said, give me a couple of minutes, or, you know, go hug a root, whatever they're going to say. Okay? Did I hit that okay?
Yeah.
Mel?
Yeah,
Oh, you're not even watching. Go home.
I'm logged on to the site right now. I was just checking on somebody.
Is there a box to the right that does anything? Because I see the ask box in the middle, the chat box in the left. Is there anything on the right there? I can't.
Yeah, there probably is. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, we'll
We're
pull it
basically
up.
showing you the
When
stuff
we
you
get
need to know to
operating
get
here,
on.
well, you'll be able to see exactly that. It'll be up on the screen. Yeah, and I've listened to as many as, 7 or 8 guys use this simultaneously
Yeah,
in the
that's
bee
all.
outfit,
Yeah.
which of course in the middle of the state. It works great for that. Once again, listen. Then you just hit the TX transmit button and you're off and running.
Is that bottom right, is that a rotor control for the 6?
Yes, it
elements?
is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. There are 2 arrows on it. One of them is where it's currently pointed at, and the other one is where you want to move it to. So right now you can see in that picture they're both one on top of another. That means it's not moving at all. If you were to move, I think it's the red one. It doesn't matter if it's the red one or the green one. I'm pretty sure it's the red one. If I were to move that over to the east, you would see the green one follow it and stop where I put it. One more thing, since we're talking about antennas. Right up here is where you choose which antenna is which. As Evan pointed out, we have 3 of them. The beam is really wonderful. You would think that that would be just the absolute killer, but you know what? Sometimes you're trying to hit something and you just can't do it on that silly beam. Try one of the other antennas. You would actually be amazed.
So are those 3 antennas independent then?
Yes, they are all
So you can
independent.
have 3 different
There are 3
operators?
physical different antennas.
This last fall, ran into a little problem software-wise in the 10-meter 3-element log periodic beam died. It wouldn't operate. Got it back later, but at any rate, I was disappointed because I had just gotten on it, was working Europe, and okay, the beam dies. So I went for the G5RV. Got a 599 report from Croatia on the G5RV. And by the way, down here in the corner is a compass, and at the moment the red arrow is right there and the green is on top of it. But if you hit this and run the red arrow down, then the beam will turn to wherever you want. So you have not just a beam, like a fixed beam on the SDR out here in Corinne. This one is full 360. It may, if you go, the red arrow is there, and you go right there, it may go all the way around, but it doesn't make, it just takes a few seconds for it to respond. This bottom part, I like to use the Corinne SDR simultaneously, and I'll show you a picture of it in a little bit, to pick out where an active signal is. And that's true whether you're talking CW or single side thing.
Evan?
Yo.
I think we need to respond to can multiple operators...
A little louder, I can't. My bad hearing.
We need to respond to the multiple operators using the different antennas simultaneously. You can have multiple operators there, but you're sharing the site, you're sharing the equipment. So only one at a time would work.
That's right, one at a time. We can't have more than one operator on the radio at the same time because, after all, there's only one radio. When we had our Christmas party, I wanted to say ward Christmas party, crying out loud. I asked Gary Crum, I said, how many antennas do we have in Leamington? He said 3, and I said, well, how come we only have 1 radio? Now, if you know Gary, that's a challenge to him. So he is in the process of configuring a second radio to put at the site. After all, it's so heavily used, right, Mel? Right, Evan?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you
Right
better wait
now,
along.
it's myself and one other person on.
Well, you can operate, well, like I just said, on the Beehive net. You can have 7 guys or whatever number
Right.
on that one frequency, on that one, and you've got one guy that is marked,
Control
there's
operator.
one guy that is marked up here as the control operator. It has usually the first guy on. But you can have several of them, but you can't have any different frequencies. You've got to operate all on one.
And you can't have multiple people talking at the same time.
That's exactly right.
Just
Although, if you just want to listen, you can hear the other guys talk.
Okay. Once again, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, and Gary is working on putting yet another remote station in Salt Lake City. We're debating about what to do with it. It's a property that his parents owned that he now owns, and he has a 60-foot aluminum crank-out tower on it. The way we're leaning is we're going to put a omnidirectional antenna of some sort of a vertical on the top of that, and set a radio up there, and make it available only on 10 meters. So then that answers the question about novices, techs, being able to use the 10-meter band. And I've always been in favor of that, and initially it was not available, and I kind of forced the issue to get that to happen. But one of the things that we sort of require, is not really a requirement, but it's stated in the manual, is that if you are not familiar with working HF and with this kind of a radio, go get some practice and come back. Okay? In the case of a technician on 10 meters, it would be good to have an Elmer sitting at his side. Okay.
I would personally, another advantage of a remote, if they were to put one in the Salt Lake area on 10 meters, I would be able to join our club's 10-meter net on Thursday nights. I've got all of Willard Peak between me and Ogden. I can't hear a signal out of Ogden, or nobody can hear me. Well, if there was a remote there, it certainly would reach far enough to have me join in on the 10-meter net for our Ogden Club net. And that's a fun bunch of people.
So are all 3 of those antennas on a motor control?
No, just the log periodic.
Okay.
Yeah, only the beam is rotatable. The other 2 are fixed antennas.
Thank you.
The G5RV is oriented so it is maximum beam to the north and south, but it's like any G5RV, it's really a very broad spectrum that you can transmit into or receive into. One of the things we'll hope to do when we get to the demonstration part, parks on the air. You never know where the park is. It can be anywhere from Maine to California. And so using the beam is kind of pointless until you find out where they're at. Does this thing work? Okay. I told you about the problems that I had. And I finally, when I got the new computer, which was back in September, by about 1st of April, I picked up an additional 500 contacts and added 45 DX stations to my list. It was 65, I'm up to 118. And a lot of it, almost all of it, using this rig. And here's the panel on the SDR. This is just split screen, the way I have my, this is a screenshot of my actually operating on 10 meters. And you've got your vertical lines that tell you where stations are. And so what I usually do, I wind up hitting those and then go back and use the slow tuning and start from the bottom and go all the way up. The nice thing about CW, the way for me, is that each dit and dot is 100% power booming out there. It isn't spread over a wide spectrum. Google Earth, Parks on the Air, and DX are my preferences. If I get somebody on DX, I go to Google Earth and see where they are. If I really care, then I'll go to Wikipedia. Last Monday, I heard a station that, kind of a strange call, SP100VI. So I figured certainly it's a DX station. Well, I went to QRZ on another computer, and it's in the Virgin Islands. Well, I worked him. He came back, and we exchanged 5NN signal reports, which means I heard you, and that's as much as you go, and boom, he's on to another guy. So then I said, well, where is this? Well, it turns out the British Virgin Islands are a string of small islands just off of Puerto Rico. Well, there was something strange in the address. It was a DX expedition. A bunch of guys got together and went down there. We're operating. And the address was Cowwreck Beach, British Virgin Islands. What? So then I went to Google and Googled Cowwreck Beach. Turns out it's a beautiful sandy white beach on the Caribbean in the northwest corner of one of the bigger islands of this little chain, Cowwreck Beach. So I did a little more Googling. Back in the 1800s, a sailing ship full of cow bones headed for Europe. They used cow bone commonly for fake ivory. They got into a hurricane, wrecked, and Cowwreck Beach was covered with cow bones, thus the name Cowwreck Beach. Well, how much fun is that? You know, make a DX contact, find it out way out in the middle of the Caribbean, and with a name like Cowwreck Beach. That's the real fun for me when I contact somebody, particularly a DX station or a POTUS station. Fort Morgan, Alabama, mouth of the Mobile Bay, War of 1812, Civil War, British Navy, American Navy, British Marines, Parks on the Air. These guys are in some interesting places. So that's, for me, that's really the real fun, is going to those if there's a DX or a POTA that sounds interesting. And like I said, I use the current SDR, which, by the way, my rig is so noisy where I'm at that if I want to operate into the Pacific Rim with my home Yaesu outfit, I use the SDR as my receiver. It works out great. Preferences, 95% CW. I did get into a single sideband contest, DX contest, about a month ago. It went from Friday noon to a Sunday noon, and I maybe worked 2 hours or 3 hours out of that. Worked a bunch of DX stations, about 20, and lo and behold, I picked up 4 new DX stations on the single sideband. For a log, I use QRZ. For contesting N1MN, I have yet to transfer anything to logbook of the world. And Jason, I think, wasn't it you that gave a talk on another logging program just a little bit ago? That's fine, whatever, but that happens to be my preference. If I happen to work single sideband, I use a headset and a boom. I work around 22 words a minute with paddles and a keyer built in. I seldom work single sideband, single sideband. That's just my preference. When I started back, fellow the new guy in our club was 57 back in my generation. I was licensed first in 1949, and back in the rock or the Stone Age, using quartz crystals and so on. So I learned CW and was delighted when I came back in a couple, 3 years ago. I find that the CW community is alive and well. Okay, propagation. Gray line. Starting about 8 o'clock in the morning, the sunrise band goes from Europe across here, like so. Then in the evening, it's like so. So in the morning, you have good luck working 10 meters and 15 meters into Europe. Around noon, 10 meters ordinarily is okay on DX into Africa and South America. In the evening, 10 and 15, DX South America, and they're starting to get into the Pacific. 4 o'clock on right now, good into the Pacific. Nighttime, of course, 160, 40 meters, 80 meters, both USA and DX. 10 meters during the winter time is very good. And indeed, we're right up on the peak of the sun cycle. It's poor during the summer. The amount of radiation that the D band gets, level gets, is enough to block signals up into the F, which 10 meters bounces off of. Mel, are you still awake out there? Did you say that 10 meters is open now?
It has been for the last few weeks. Only when we have some solar flares that go away.
Because I have found over the last few weeks, 10 meters really is not operational. That Virgin Islands that I talked to was on 12 meters. I talked to a guy last night on 17 because 15, 12, and 10 were dead. So.
Yesterday, mid-afternoon, 10 was wide open.
Justin, could we turn the lights back up to a low level? Okay. Do we have a volunteer to come up here and operate the rig? Yeah.
Question. How are these contacts handled towards Workall States Award or DXCC?
That's a very good question, and the answer to it is they count. Which actually brings up another question. What call sign do you use when you're running this? Yeah, we've had discussions about that. You know, if you search hard enough, you can find rules that say something like your own / the station, whatever. Forget all that. Just use your own. We've found, we've observed, I should say, that some of these other things that they just confuse the person on the other end. You know, especially if you're not talking to somebody that's in the United States that has that so-called rule. That's not really a rule. I think it's, you know, a handshake sort of thing. But anyway, we do ask that if you've been on this station for a while, at the end, announce that you're using this station. That's all. Other than that, your own call sign. It's just like you're in your own living room. We all have radios in our living room, right?
Every once in a while, guy on the other end, when you give your location, and you happen to mention remote. I had one guy in Serbia, I think it was, on CW. I said, yes, what my QTH was, and I said, well, Brigham City, Utah, but I'm operating remote from a transmitter in central Utah. Oh, what's that? And I had to give him the whole story on operating remote. He thought that was really cool. So you never know. But yes, indeed, all of these contacts I'm talking about were under my call sign. Somebody had...
I'll volunteer to sit in the hot seat if you need.
Good. Come on up. We ready, Evan?
Sure.
Come on up.
I'll steer you through it.
Quit walking like an old man.
Craig, you want to get us on the...
I've been drinking too much water. I'll be right
Been
back.
sitting for a while in that chair. Breaker 19.
No, you don't do that. No!
Vanished.
You'll never find my body, right?
Go ahead, get the foot on it.
It's already been banned.
There we are. Okay.
I see if the Air Force Flyers Club guys are still on.
Okay. Now, go. First thing you want to do is go over here where it says bands, right there.
Okay.
Now find 20 meters. Okay, we're there. Now, come down over here and hit the antenna you want to use. Now, G5RV on 20 meters is probably good.
Okay.
Then come down one notch, click single sideband. Okay. Now come down over in the corner here. No, the little box, the block right there. No, up, up, up.
This one?
This one right there.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then I need to go
Okay.
50?
Pick, yeah, yeah, 5 okay, just to show the folks what happens, click on AB. A equals B.
So that makes, this is the transmitter and that's the receiver, right?
Other way around.
This is the receiver, that's the transmitter?
If you're working on split. In this case, you're not hitting split, so it doesn't make any difference. You can tune across. We're not getting any audio.
Oh, it's not giving on you. Is this on?
Default speaker? Okay. I can hear myself talking.
Is it this one?
Well, there may not be anybody on that frequency. Okay, try 14.340.
Let's talk with Marvin.
That's green. That seems to be where she's
You can do the ask. I know
I told nobody was on, I just grabbed it.
No, that's okay. Gary Crump.
It says reconnect required.
Well, tell you what, go up and
NVIS.
start talking.
This KB7 LIK testing. KB7 LIK testing.
I don't think consider recognizing microphone.
Got into it, like in one area, just being up in Arkham Valley, trying to get hold of it,
Something's not turning on the audio of this thing, right? Yeah. I was going to ask how you did your key in this. This one?
Try that one, but it's also the...
Or the headphones?
It's not headphones.
Microphone speakers.
Oh, unless this is on, it's not going to show that particular one.
There we go.
So it's a USB microphone right there.
This one? What do I do with it?
Double click it, make sure it's...
Device is working properly.
Okay, there's another fix we can do.
How come we're
While
not
they're
hearing
trying to
it?
work out their technical problems, any of you have questions?
Go up.
I'd
I
like
should
to
hear
answer.
something,
Yeah,
right?
go up in the upper right-hand corner, exit out.
Oh, just kill it?
Yeah.
Hard to tune.
Okay. Click on RC4.
I heard mention that tuning rates, that you can choose how easy is it to fine tune it when you're trying to zero in on.
I don't, if
You
they're,
use the
if they're
mouse to
fit-
turn
yeah.
the.
Yeah, I know. Oh, on RC4? Okay, yeah. On this right here, right? This screen? On the radio?
No, well, I don't know. He's talking about using the mouse wheel
To change the frequency on this SDR.
On the SDR, not on this.
Oh, I see. Okay, that answers the SDR question, but here, you use the mouse to turn the knob? Yeah. Move it.
Yeah, you use the mouse to turn the knob, but that's not the only way to change the frequency. I'll show you. Right up here, above and below. This one's yeah. Right above each number and right below each number, there's little arrows there. You click on the down arrow, it's going to go down one digit. All the way across, they're all that way.
Oh, so you hit the button, that little dots.
Yeah, there's little arrows up there at the top and at the bottom of each one of those numbers. So that's a lot easier than trying to go all the way across the band, twiddling that little knob, because I've tried it.
Can you change the speed like on my radio? Can you slow or fast on the
Once again, that's another feature I've never used. And the reason I have it is I ran my Flexi 400 for so long, and I got used to it. And on the 6400, it's got a waterfall. So you look at the waterfall and make your best guess of exactly what the frequency is, punch it in, and you'll be within after doing it 3 or 4 times. RC4 doesn't have that feature. I wish it did. Any other questions?
Stake is the bottom ground, and then you say
Just a quick comment for those of you who might be interested. UART has their ASEC on this not being specified, then put into the Salt Lake, it's connected to RC form also. So if you have your memory, you can go and request stuff that's on the list, and then you can log into that either in Salt Lake or via your internet, and you can talk all over the entire system. It goes all the way from Phoenix up through Utah, Idaho, and Oregon.
I'm on this one now?
I'm realizing that we haven't really started transferring I'll need to get something in a lot.
I agree with in terms of that aspect. So and a lot of this, like I say, is intriguing to me as to that I don't put them in this. The part-time, and so understanding some of the protocols. I'm involved with the reading areas, and so part of that is to be involved, be initiated into some so I've done some things like grades, there's some issues had a license for a long time, work in life happened, so I decided, hey, if I'm going to be a we've got some cert training. Years ago, I was first responder certified. That was intriguing. Life happened, but the main purpose of that was emergency situations. Don't want to go out and squirm. So,
330. 14330. That's not getting it. There is a station there.
Well, should I open another window and just turn off this receiver?
Try 338. Now you can go up there, individual ones, you can go up and click on the top, right up above the number.
And
that'll move you up to 8.
Alright, you have a 5-step 1719, I believe I got that right. Alright, hey, thank you so much for hunting and enjoy your activation there, then. Whiskey 9 Alpha, leave my mic parked on the Oregon. Call QRT here. I gotta get to bed here. I'm a third shift guy, so I gotta go to bed at a reasonable time. So, thank you so much for the contact. QRT, I will be clear the frequency now.
Kilo Bravo 7 Lima Alpha Kilo. I'm doing a demonstration if anyone can copy over.
You can always call CW too.
Call CQ. Is this frequency in use? This is Kilo Bravo 7 Lima Alpha Kilo. Hello CQ, 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 CQ20. This is Kilo Bravo 7 Lima Alpha Kilo, KB7 LAK, calling CQ. Hello CQ, CQ20. Kilo Bravo 7 Lima Alpha Kilo, calling CQ and Linus. Yeah.
start scrolling your way up. Actually, it's 14,327.5. That's it. No. Suppose you're not getting at the SDR.
I'm hearing it.
Well,
they're just not hearing me. Is it 8 or is it?
Electric bands. Up here. In the very end.
Oh, yeah. Is everything on 10?
Go to, there you go. Go to 10 meters.
This computer's really slow down.
Okay.
And then which antenna do I want?
28, 333.
And which antenna do I want? G5RB?
Go down to the 3L, number 3, 3L, 3LP. Okay, go over there. What direction is it pointing? Where's the green arrow?
Green arrow is pointing
okay.
south.
Swing it over to northeast. Yeah, about 320 up in there.
Oh, it's moving. Check it out.
Okay, cool. You're there.
Okay.
Which one are you going to transmit on 10 meters? He's not, yeah, he's transmitting right now.
I'm tuning. Is anybody there?
He's weak.
Here's
He's weak, but he's there on 10 meters.
Oh, he is? Okay. I don't hear him. There's too much stuff.
Yeah, right.
Kilo Bravo 7, Lima Alpha Kilo. What did you hear him? How did you hear me?
Somebody speaking Spanish.
Oh, really? Oh, I can do that.
Karen, he's weak, but he's there.
There's a coda where you were at on 20 meters. You said cures.
Is this frequency in use? Kilo Bravo 7, Lima Alpha Kilo. All right, I'm not hearing it. You're right.
Where you pointing at?
He's going to go southwest. Is he? That's Spanish. Let me see if I can get him pointing southwest.
He's actually made a couple of contacts. Have you picked that up?
There's a hell of a good signal on 20 meters.
14.
Everybody, we appreciate you coming. This is working now when we can find someone
Yeah,
to
file
talk
through if you want to
We've
talk
had a
on
couple of QSOs already, so if you want to get closer, you can hear it, that's fine.
That's all right. I'm going to go
We're
talk
going to
to Joe.
wrap up the meeting for today.
Go ahead and
Remember,
demo the
next
person
month,
that comes up.
we're out of Golden Spike,
Let me see if I can.
8 or 9 o'clock, or
Probably
throughout the day,
not.
whatever you.
So how do you do your key?
Say again?
How do you do your
Code?
Your bug?
Thanks, everybody.
There's a
See you
little
next
dongle about the size of
My
my
pain level
well,
is
like
rising,
that.
so I'm going to
That
leave.
Brent,
Just have any final questions for me
Brent
before I do?
Anderson in the
I know.